Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is episode 5 of Step Into Our Podcast. As Tyler said last week, you guys know the hosts, that we're not doing that again. Today, we've got kind of a fun one planned where we're going to go over iconic moments in sports history and just kind of discuss what our definition of iconic here. I know Tanner's got a couple things that he's wanting to talk about there, and just go through it, see what everyone's thinking. Tanner, do you want to start us off, buddy?
Sure, boss. So my iconic moment, we're taking it across the pond. We're going to Abu Dhabi for the season finale of the 2021 Formula One season. I'm not ashamed of it. Got into Formula One because of the Netflix series Drive to Survive. Can be a topic of conversation for another day about gatekeeping in sports fan bases in general. But I got hooked onto it and was kind of following the Formula One season throughout 2021. I wasn't watching things live because those take place at 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning, but I would watch the races after the fact, after Sunday Night Football and stuff. But then last race of the year, it came down to the top two guys. Basically, it was winner takes all for their drivers' championship. And so I decided, this is going to be the one time. If we're going to do it, we're going to wake up early. We're going to watch this race and see what happens. And it was absolutely exhilarating. I don't know if it was just because it turned into, hey, whoever wins, and that's what was great about it, or if more of the storylines just going throughout the whole season, or how the race ended itself. I know that was kind of controversial. I didn't really follow what was supposed to happen, what wasn't supposed to happen. That's also a topic for another day that I don't know all the details on, but absolutely exhilarating. So for myself, thinking of these iconic moments, that was definitely one that came to mind just because it got me into this sport a little bit more. And since then, 2022, last year, I watched every single race. 23 season starts this weekend over in Bahrain. So absolutely pumped for it. Really interesting sport. I think it's on a scale of, was a weird scale, probably not the right words, but similar scale to the NFL, and that's just simple to follow because it's 23 races throughout the year. It's a weekend, but essentially like a day when they actually have their race. And so it's not like basketball, football, or basketball, baseball, hockey. You've got games every other night for your team trying to keep up with their schedule. They'll play 3 games in a row and then take 4 days off. And, you lose interest in it. So I think for this, it's easy to follow that almost every other week you're gonna have a race. And so just kind of keeping up with the headlines and what's going on. And it's also really short, less than 2 hours. So it's not taking up your whole day. It's also really nice. Yeah, you get up at 6 a.m., but you got the whole rest of your day. You don't feel like crap, After 7 hours of commercial-free football, you feel like a piece of garbage. So, not a lot of snack or beer drinking going on at 6 a.m. for these races. Just a couple cups of coffee, maybe a donut. Life's good.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. That's obviously not a take that I had on this. I haven't watched Formula One yet, but I think it's really great that you're throwing it in there, that it's iconic because it got you started on something that you'll probably love forever now.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're hooked on it.
Yeah. I have my fantasy team ready to go.
Yeah.
There's fantasy in that?
There is. I was going to offer it to you guys, but I knew I'd get shut down. So maybe next year. Okay, baby steps. I'll get you there.
There you go.
Tyler's going to hate it because you only get to make 2 changes a week. So it's not going to be able to drop his whole roster like he does in football.
That's actually, who would have thought that they had that, but makes sense. Yeah. They do it for everything else. So no, that's great. Logan, do you want to take it off, buddy?
I have 2. I'll start with the big one and then kind of end one. My iconic moment is in the hockey realm. I grew up as a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, and my brother, Jordan, and my dad grew up as Red Wings fans. In 2008, they played each other. The Red Wings won. Obviously, I wasn't all that thrilled, but my dad and my brother were. Well, both teams made it to the Stanley Cup again in 2009. And we made it to push to game 7 in Detroit. And the goalie for Detroit was Chris Osgood, and the goalie for Pittsburgh was Marc-Andre Fleury. And Fleury was this was his second year coming in and playing good. I mean, obviously they got to the Stanley Cup the year before, but Chris Osgood, being a veteran on the other side, he's been there a couple times. He's won a couple, and the one the year before. And so they play in Detroit, and if first period goes by, it's a lot of defense. I think both teams had only like 23 shots on net apiece. So, I mean, in a playoff game nowadays, that's not very many. There's like 30, 40 shots nowadays. It's a lot more. There's a lot more offense. And then going into the second period, Max Talbot scores with, I want to say it was about 10 minutes left in the second period. And then going into the third, it's 1-0 to Pittsburgh. And I mean, obviously, my brother and I are razzing each other, and my dad, and just going back and forth. And then Talbot actually scores again in mid third. So now it's 2-0. I'm like, man, we got this. Well, then there's 6 minutes left in the game, and Detroit ends up scoring. And I'm thinking, oh man, here we go. Well, there's 10 seconds left in the game. And this is the moment that I'm talking about. 10 seconds left in the game. Detroit is in their offensive zone and a face-off to the right. They take the face-off. Detroit wins the face-off. Was his name? Jonathan Erickson takes a shot from the right side. It deflects off of Fleury, and it trickles out to the left. And Lund, oh man, I can't even think of his name now. Number 5 for Detroit. I had this all written down, and I left my sheet at work, so this sucks. Lidstrom, he takes a shot from that left side, and as he takes that shot, Marc-Andre Fleury literally flops his whole body, sticks his chest out, and the puck goes off of him, and then the buzzer rings. I mean, it was just so it was the last 10 seconds, but those 10 seconds felt like forever, where it was just this boom shot, and then it trickles out, gets over, and he makes the save, and then the whole place just erupts. And this was wow, that was cool. That was one of the first big sports moments I remember. And then, obviously looking at my dad, just even my dad was we lost, but that was insane. Last 10 seconds for it to come down to that, where they pull the goalie and they win that face-off, which is super key, because they lose that face-off, they don't even get a shot probably out. But for them to get a shot with a bunch of traffic, he makes a stop. Then he makes a stop on an open net and just throws his body out there. And I thought that was so just epic. And and then
did you say that was in Pittsburgh too?
No, it was in Detroit.
Oh,
yeah. Which
imagine if that's in Pittsburgh, that would have been
yeah. If it was in Pittsburgh, it'd have been really cooler. But it's still really cool that, I mean, regardless, game 7,
regardless,
7,
yeah, it's huge.
I mean, whoever wins, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my one. Then my second one, I don't watch a lot of baseball. I like playing baseball. I play softball, but I felt it very heartwarming, I guess, and more on the emotional part of it, where I just think some of these moments, I don't think it's a coincidence when these kind of things happen. And there was a pitcher for the Reds named Michael Lorenzen. Hopefully I didn't butcher that, but they were playing the Dodgers back in 2016. I'm not sure if it was mid-season, late season, but he came as a reliever, and he sounds like he pitched an inning and a little bit more than that. Pitched well. Well, he got up to bat, and he ended up hitting this home run. And first of all, pitchers don't ever hit home runs. But what was so significant about that moment was that his dad ended up passing away the day before. And I just like, we even watching that video, it's just super cool. I mean, obviously there's a lot of emotion there and the team, and they know that. But I just like, for that to be on a national stage, I think that there was, I mean, that happened for a reason. It was very significant and just shows that it's bigger than just sports too, you know? So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it was even on the first pitch. Like it wasn't even.
Yeah.
It was like something took over him. He just
Yeah.
launched one out. It was
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah. He
incredible.
was throwing a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, it said. And I mean, he just took it.
That was it.
Yeah. And he didn't just hit it like he crushed it. It was completely gone. I mean,
Yeah.
that was super cool.
Yeah, it's a really special moment.
Yeah.
Hard to believe
not
that's
to
happened
derail
that long
here.
ago.
Do we have thoughts on this new pitch clock thing yet?
I don't like it.
I'm not a big fan either. The game is ran
like
so well. Yeah, it's a slower game, but I don't know. I think it definitely makes the game different.
Yeah, I mean everybody talks about it though. It's they say the problem is that you go to like a game live and you're sitting there for 3 hours. Okay, if you go to an NFL game live, you're sitting there for 3 hours too. Like, regardless of whatever professional sport you're going to, you're sitting there a long time. The part of the fun is sitting there though. Like the crowd atmosphere of being out there around everyone in America's pastime. I mean, that's part of it. And now you're putting these guys in this tough situation. Isn't there a rule too? Like they're only able to pick off like twice before they have
I don't
to
know about.
I haven't heard anything about that.
Nothing like that yet. I thought somebody had said that they were going to try to implement that. I don't know if that's a thing yet, but it's just stop trying to speed up the game. And then obviously the umpires are going to get, it's their job. I get it, but they're going to get like right down to that last second. They're going to call it right away.
Yeah.
You just saw it happen just recently in spring training. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I get it. I understand the premise of it, but I don't cater to the people who don't want to watch anyway.
Yeah, but then the umps have to decipher too, though, who's delaying the clock. Is it the pitcher or is it the batter?
Exactly, and I think we've already seen one this year where the batter got called for something.
The batter got technically struck out because he took too long. Thought he needed to take his base, and they're like, no. The only reason why I know that is because it was a Braves player.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, well, and I popped up, but then that puts the pressure on the ump to make that call, and as we know, like there's gonna be tons of problems.
It's a tough call.
Yeah, I guess what I'm a little confused on is I don't know the full breakdown of it, but basically about like 8 seconds, batter has to be ready. But like, what's the definition of ready? Because I think like I saw a video that some guy was like, so this guy who's standing behind me now can magically see that I've made eye contact with the pitcher, and like that's the signal that that we're looking for, basically. Like that seems a little gray on, like you have to be set like it's T-ball and you can't move, where like some guys want not like full swings, but like they're gonna move a little bit because I imagine it's like a timing thing, right? Like you're wanting to kind of match with what the pitcher's doing, but like it sounds like that's iffy on what that is.
Yeah, the problem with last year is you could start noticing it a little bit more. Everybody playing the mind game of like, I'm going to throw it when I'm ready to throw it, or the batter doing like, well, I'm going to slow you down so to get you off your rhythm. And I think they push the envelope too much, and that's why they're trying to do this now, where they're like, okay, we're not going to sit here and just have you guys do these mental mind games with each other right now, when you can just get in the box, saddle up, and do whatever you need to do. Yeah. My thought, I have no idea what the actual rule is, but my thought would be once they're in the box, you can kind of move your feet around a little bit, get positioned, you get that whatever couple seconds that you need, like you normally would if you threw your hand back there to the ump. Sit there, take a deep breath, and just kind of like look out there, and he should be able to go. I mean, that's not saying you need to have your bat ready and up. That's not saying your feet have to be completely set. It's just saying you got to have an initial stance at least in there where you can see him going through his progression as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I see how it plays out. I mean, they're not going to change it now for at least the whole season. I think they're going to roll with it, is what it seems like. But hopefully it does something that they want. Bigger bases. I mean, geez, I don't mind that either. That's whatever. I mean, you're trying to make it now so people can steal more, I think, is really the big thing that you're doing with the bigger bases. It's partially a safety deal, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Why
Have
change?
fun.
It's already good already, Why?
Yeah, I mean, it's been this way for forever, and it's just all of a sudden they just think that they need to change it up because people are frustrated with sitting there for 3 hours, and it's not exciting enough. And
Yeah.
I get it. Ever since the steroid era, where people are hitting bombs, everyone just wants to see that again, and that doesn't happen normally. I mean, you either let them all take steroids, which is terrible. I mean, that's just bad for health, right? But it would be really fun for the sport.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't do
There's
that.
yeah, definitely extremes to it. I don't know if you guys have seen some of the clips going around of how many times Jose Altuve can hit an inside the park home run before some playoff scenario. There's a pitch. There was like 7 inside the park home runs that he hit by the time the next pitch was thrown. So definitely got both ends of the extreme going on out there on if this is good or bad.
See, that's a problem for sure. But I don't know why you can't just crack down on those scenarios where you're like, okay, seriously, man, get in the box. We're not doing this anymore. And not have to have, it's almost like we're back in elementary school where they're making it like, oh, you've got this much time to do something, when it's really just a handful of kids that are the problem.
Yeah.
Get in the box and let's go. But anyway, no, I like both those were great. Tanner, great little sidebar. You got me all heated up now. Oh, Jesus.
Gotta bring some emotion into this, okay? We're a little stiff right now.
Yeah, I don't know. We lost Tyler today, and apparently that just makes us stiff.
Yeah.
But Jordan, buddy, what do you got?
Mine's about Matthew Stafford, and it's kind of a team thing. It's gonna come back too. So at the end of the first half, the Lions are down 24-3. Then we'll move on to the fourth quarter. They caught up, and then it was 37-31.
Who's Matthew Stafford playing?
He's Lions.
Against who?
The Browns.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry. They're both 0-9, so whoever wins, that's pretty big for those guys.
That's the difference between a first and second pick in the draft.
Yeah. Anyways, to the fourth quarter, it's 37-31 with 1:40 left. The Lions stop the Browns. They punt off to the Lions. They only have, I think, about like 1:20 left. They drive down the field. And the moral story, with 0 seconds left, Matthew Stafford throws up a ball in the end zone. Pass interference, so they go down to the 2-yard line. But on the same play, Stafford gets hit and dislocates his shoulder. So that was a big one. If you've seen the hit, it was pretty nasty. He was a big boy. But he goes out for a play. Culpepper comes on, but then all of a sudden the Browns call a timeout. So then it goes. There's another video where it goes to Stafford on the sideline. He's sitting there screaming because he's hurting so bad. But to put his shoulder back in, and he goes in for one more play, and he throws a touchdown to his tight end Pettigrew, and they win the football game. And I thought that was just really cool for, being in that much pain and just having your shoulder just put back in. Like that would
Winning
suck.
your own little mini Super Bowl with the worst teams.
If you ever seen the video, he's screaming and cussing. He's like, I'm going back in. He goes back in and he throws that touchdown pass. They win it. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty incredible moment. Really shows how gutsy you have to be in those situations. I mean, you see it a lot with a lot of these quarterbacks anymore, and they get hit real hard, they get messed up, and they just have to make a decision to go back in there. I mean, pretty incredible. And I think Stafford is one of those guys that's always going back in. It seems like there's a handful of quarterbacks that you can just kind of count on, and he's one of them. And
Yeah.
that's pretty
Yeah.
incredible.
It might have been his rookie year too. I'm not sure.
I think it was his second year.
Mhm.
Okay.
His rookie year, he got hurt towards the end of the year, but that jersey got sent to the Hall of Fame because of that play.
Really?
Yeah, which I thought was cool. And on the flip side of that, I've always thought too, like, yeah, I know he's hurt, but when you're making that kind of money, I mean, you got to throw that guy back in there to throw you a touchdown. I mean, I know that
Yeah.
football now, it's all about safety, but I think it's just, these guys make so much money. I mean, you just got to get in there and play. Come on.
For sure.
Well, I
mean-
mean, the thing is, they didn't want him to go back in. He told
Yeah.
he's going back in, which I think that was really cool. That's
Yeah.
leadership right there. So
It definitely is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of surprised you didn't use Green Bay. Wasn't it Green Bay and
Oh,
Detroit with
he-
the last
oh,
second?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good one. Yeah, I didn't think about that one.
or
I
Green
just
Bay,
I don't know.
Chicago, when Aaron Rodgers goes out at half and comes back
Mhm.
and wins that game in the first game of the season. But he's pretty shot up, I think, with some
Ooh,
some
very, I bet.
good men rest of that game.
No, I bet.
I'm not.
Yeah.
The only reason I didn't put Green Bay in there is because I'm not a fan of Rodgers, so I don't want to
Were
talk
you-
about him.
You're not a fan of him now.
I never really was. He's just a whiny little, you know what, like Tom Brady. Just annoying.
Were you a
This is a-
Favre guy then?
Jordan always
Oh yeah, I like Favre.
Oh,
Okay. A little
yeah,
sticky
we probably
finger
shouldn't talk
bandit
about
now,
him.
but
He's
Yeah.
suing everyone. So
Yeah, he seems like he's in a little bit of trouble.
just a little bit.
yeah. No, that's fun. That's a good one. Do you have any others, or is that the one you got?
That's the one I got. And I guess we could talk about the Diggs catch. That was pretty freaking insane.
That's a good one. Yeah,
That
I'm
was
surprised
a
Tanner
really-
didn't do that one too. Big
Yeah.
Vikings fan over there.
you know,
Miracle
it's
in
more
Minnesota, man.
Minneapolis Miracle. Get it right.
Eh,
Wow.
not a fan.
No, I don't know. The expectations with the Vikings are bare minimum. So, like, I don't know, especially in that season, Case Keenum wasn't supposed to be leading that team to anything.
No.
It was whatever. So good for them. It was exciting. But then just straight down the next week into divisional round, I think they lost. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
Yeah.
it's Minnesota and clutch performances don't exactly go together, especially when it comes to a kicker.
Yeah, that's what I don't get either. Like, you hold kickers to the highest regard possible, yet your team has the history of having the worst kickers of all time in stressful situations. It doesn't
Exactly.
make sense.
I know.
Him and
Is that why you like kickers then? You just wish you had a good one?
Exactly. That's what it needs to be. All right. I don't know what's going on over there in Minneapolis, but let's put a little more respect on some kickers here. Could potentially have a Super Bowl by now.
Good point.
yeah.
Potentially.
No, never. At this point, never.
Yeah.
No.
No, that's my turn.
Yeah.
Yes,
Take us
sir.
away, boss. You got a whole
Gotcha.
alphabet of
I
opportunities here.
took, yeah, I got 4. I don't know what you guys were doing.
Well, this goes back to you being a Denver fan. So you've got one for the Avs, one for the Nuggets, one for the Broncos, one for the soccer team, I'm sure, the
Rapids.
lacrosse team,
Yeah. and the
5,
Maybe
Yeah.
some honorable mentions here and there. You never know.
just a couple of those. We'll drop down to the
Honorable
University of
mentions.
Colorado Boulder women's lacrosse team.
Yeah, no, nothing like that. I might throw, I'm not entirely sure. I might throw an honorable mention to Tim Tebow's 80-yard touchdown pass to Demarius Thomas in it was the first round of the playoffs, I believe, in an overtime victory. The only, by the way, playoff win Tebow has.
Yeah.
In case anyone's keeping track. But
That's you.
no, that would be like a distant honorable mention though. But in this situation, I'm gonna go. One of the most iconic moments of all time is the 1980 Miracle on Ice, where the U.S. Olympic team defeated the Russian Olympic team in spectacular fashion, right? I mean, there's a movie made about it. We've all seen it. It's incredible, right? Really well put together, really inspirational. And it came at a time in the U.S. history for sure that we just needed a win. We really did. And this Russian team was just destroying every NHL team they came across, all these professional teams. And it took a group of college kids to actually put together something to beat them. And that, I just think that's one of the most iconic moments of all sports across the board. We've all seen the actual clip of the announcer going off, and it just really brought the country together in that moment. So I do think that was probably, that might even be the top moment in sports history. My number two would be, I know you guys aren't huge baseball fans, but Kirk Gibson in the 1988 World Series. Yeah, follow me here,
Your grandpa?
Yep.
Oh, let
Again,
me dig out my
never seen any of
encyclopedia.
these. You can look it up all you want. Kirk Gibson was a player for the Dodgers, and he had an outstanding season leading up to that. But in the series right before that, he got pretty hurt. I think he hurt both of his legs, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Pretty messed up. But in game one of the World Series, he goes up, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. They're down by 1. And he looks over at his coach and says, "Coach, I can still pinch hit." Against better judgment, the manager throws him in there. And this guy with 2 hurt legs sends a 2-run blast over the wall to win game 1 of the World Series. Now, on his run around the bases, he has probably the most iconic fist pump of all time. He's just giving it to him as he's rounding. And he's hobbling out there. He can't even he's barely jogging. And they go on to win, I think 5-2 in the series.
Yeah.
They won in 5. No, 5.
4-2.
4.
They won in the 5th game.
Well, you win. It's best of 7. So
yeah, 5-1.
Yeah.
4-1. Thanks, Dan. No, but that's just one of those moments though where every baseball player out there wants to recreate a situation like that. I mean, you dream of something like that happening to you. I'm sure in every sport there's kids out there that dream of, having that, like you were talking about, Jordan, having that injury, but still being the guy and getting out there and getting the job done. And I don't know if there's ever going to be a situation to recreate that. There's just way too much that goes into his situation that I just don't think can ever be done again. But that's what everyone strives for, and I think that's something that makes it iconic.
Yeah.
Then I'll go a different route, still on the baseball, and just kind of a short one here, but Derek Jeter's last game at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just a spectacle. Everybody knows Derek Jeter, that he was the face of the sport for years and years. It's just, it's one of those things you look back on, everyone's emotional, but happy for him, and he's emotional but happy to be done, and just pretty incredible. And then my one that's kind of a curveball here is only because I watched it happen at a bar in Bose. I don't watch fights very often. So when I do, if I see something just crazy, it makes my list. So my wife and I, we were just dating at the time, but we were at the Cat's Paw in Bozeman and caught the 5-second knockout that Jorge Masvidal landed on Ben Askren. They ran up and did like a sweet flying knee. And I know nothing about the fight game, but man, did that place erupt. And I was right there with everyone else telling them like, he was training that, because all the people were saying he was training it. So I made sure to let them know that I knew he was training it too. And I'm sure they all thought I was a wizard, not just some guy at the bar, but that would be that would be kind of my sucker one, just only because I watched it happen live. I'm going to say it's one of the most iconic moments in sports history.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know, fellas. I feel like we're a little shorter than normal. If you guys have something else to talk about.
Just coming back to it here real quick. You mentioned that Minnesota sucks and never going to win a Super Bowl. The only thing that matters, everyone wants to be there. Okay. Going back to those report cards that went out,
you don't do this.
#1 in the league.
You said it yourself.
Satisfaction.
You don't take words and put them into my mouth. You're the one that said you guys suck and will never win a Super Bowl.
100%. But at least we got a place where people want to be. Okay, we'll get them there.
That's true.
Just they go there to end their career. So
yeah, that's true.
No, I don't know if you guys looked at that report card too often. This is absolutely fascinating to me, and it's also absolutely hilarious on some of the things. So like Dexter, you mentioned travel. Like, how do you get an F- in travel? Are they flying Spirit Airlines? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, that's rough, huh?
I never thought of this. Like, to an extent, it makes sense, but also it's like the NFL. Why are you doing what you're doing? Teams
Why do I have
some
a
of their
roommate
guys
if we're
exactly
multi-billion-dollar franchise? Like, what are we
like
talking
you're making
about?
guys room together? That seems blasphemous.
Just
and like
joke.
For the most part, it's the
what are we
guys.
Back in college again or high school? Come on.
Like,
Jeez.
I don't. That one baffled me. The amount of teams that have roommates was kind of weird.
Wow.
The one that really surprised me for travel was the Patriots, because the Patriots have their own planes and they rated poorly in travel because of their planes, which I think is wild to think about, that they bought their own planes so they don't have to worry about chartering or like getting small planes or anything
so
like that.
Wouldn't
But like,
all of your seats be basically first class then if you just have your own planes?
You would think.
Apparently not.
But
apparently not. No, and then
the other
something like the
surprising
Chargers were saying that their like cold plunge wasn't cold enough. Their hot tubs weren't hot enough. They didn't have enough room and any of the stuff. And it's just like, oh my God, can we get it together?
Yeah.
We've got so much money.
It's a big, man. That's a big part of it too. Like, these guys make all this money, but if the owners don't want to put the money into their facilities, then they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
The Chiefs really surprised me.
Yeah, me too. I'm very surprised at that. Reading that, I was like, how did we only get a B+? We just won the Super Bowl twice in the last 5 years, 4 years.
Well, they did really bad in training staff.
Yeah.
That like they felt like if you got hurt, that like you shouldn't say anything, and if you were hurt, like you weren't getting good treatment from the team or something, which seemed kind of weird.
Yeah.
So Patty's ankle. Time might be up, Logan. Time to move on.
Uh-oh.
Hey, we just won the Super Bowl again, so we'll see.
He played on potentially broken ankle or something, so he's not getting the good treatment now.
We'll have to do this part again with Tyler, because obviously, Cowboys were perfect on the scorecard basically, and we all knew that. I mean, that's just
that's Jerry World.
Yeah.
I keep saying surprised, and I should stop doing that. I was just like a person who speaks publicly for a living. The Texans came in at number 4 overall.
Yeah, isn't that nuts? And they're garbage.
That's too much fun. Ability or on their plane rides that they don't focus on the game, so they suck.
I mean, I guess when you look at it that way, yeah, that would make sense. But
yeah,
that one,
like the 2014 West High Bears, kind of the same deal. Too much fun on a bus ride and not focusing on the damn game.
Yeah, that's what we'll blame it on, is the bus rides. So,
Tanner, do you know what the Packers are for their rating?
yeah, let me pull them up real quick. They did well overall.
I'm just kind of curious.
They were 6th overall.
Oh, that's pretty
Lowest
good.
score was
That's
a
really
B-
good.
in the training room.
They should put an F for their quarterback because he doesn't show up to any things.
But yeah, I didn't
who
know
ended up having the worst? Was it the Commanders had the worst?
No, it was Arizona.
Arizona was down there.
Yeah, they were.
It might have been, yeah, 31-32 Cardinals and Commanders, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, my God.
Good luck, Lamar.
Yeah, have fun, man. And he's not selling the team anymore. Is that what I heard? There's like talks that like the deal's falling through and he's going to keep the team.
I don't think he can keep the team.
You don't think so?
I don't think so at all. I know,
Gotcha.
Something just came out about, I think they have their own plane as well, that the owner charged the organization like $4.5 million just to put the logo on the side of their plane.
Oh my God.
Shit.
Imagine
That's
living in
ridiculous.
your own world like that.
Yeah, there was something. Yeah, the owner like took out a loan or something for like a lot of personal expenses, and like that was just uncovered. So there's no way he keeps that team. But I don't know. They're being weird about who can put together a group to buy it. So we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Bills apparently share a nutritionist with the Sabres, which I thought was weird. Like,
this is strange. You're just trying to save a couple bucks there.
I get, but like,
but
come on, one of you just
that's the
pony up
weird
and
thing
pay
is-
more money.
Yeah, but Von Miller went there because he said that they had like some of the best staff and training facilities in all the
Yeah, they did very
the
well,
NFL.
but just like nutrition as its own,
Just
they got a
nutrition
C
itself was
because weight room was A+, strength staff A+, training room B+, training staff A, locker room A, travel was a D. What do they got? Roommates probably. I just cracks me up.
Can you look at Cincinnati real quick? Because I think
Roommates.
Cincinnati said something along the lines of, for their nutrition, they had meals provided to them, but on off days, where you're
So they are one of 3 teams that doesn't provide dinner, one of only 2 teams that don't provide vitamins, and the only team that doesn't provide supplements.
You would think that they'd be more on top of that because
I don't think the Broncos. I think the Broncos were the other team that didn't have vitamins.
Dang.
Yeah, and I think it might have been like the Saints, maybe, that like they don't do dinner either unless they have a late practice or something. So and for the Bengals, it says,
man.
Yeah, it's weird. So for the Bengals, players report they're encouraged to come in on their off days to work out, but the cafeteria is not open, so they can't even get like a banana.
Yeah.
Don't send me there, man. When I hit my, don't send me nowhere where they ain't gonna serve food.
Exactly. No, I need 3 meals a day guaranteed to me. I don't pay for it.
Yeah.
And on top of that, there's snacks and vitamins for me to get at.
Yep.
And I want a sauna. Give me a sauna and a steam room. I don't know what the difference is, but give me both.
God, this is just hilarious. This came out and I was dying laughing reading through these things.
Do you think that's going to create some friction between the organizations? Because clearly
100%.
there's been talks with the players and whoever's putting on this whole like investigation. And so now they know that there's players in the organization that they even have percentages of like X amount of players, agree with this and don't kind of thing. Like people are going to be pissed about the fact that the players are talking bad about the team that they're on.
100%.
But I mean, I guess it's a way to get better. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like, I guess like from the player standpoint, like, yeah, again, they get paid a lot of money, too much money.
Mhm.
The owners and teams make even more money. And it's like you can't even provide dinner. You can't provide a banana. Like,
Yeah, come on.
like some of these basic things are
Well,
clearly we all
really-
thought it was common practice that like
Yeah,
you're gonna get fed, you're not gonna have a roommate in the NFL.
Yeah.
my God, that happens in college. Like you might have a roommate in college football, but you've got all of these meals supplied to you. You've
Yeah.
got like your own, they've got all these vitamin stations at a lot of different campuses right now that the football players and other athletes get to go up to, take like a little thing of vitamins, toss that down. I mean, it's almost like these bigger colleges are treating the players better than the NFL is. I just can't even believe that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're just, maybe it's more of a, well, I mean, that's probably exactly what it is. It's more of like a fight to get people to your campus than it is for an
Yeah.
NFL team. Like if you draft somebody, you draft them.
Yeah.
Like they're a part of your organization. You don't have to worry about it. But in college, like you're trying to keep people there. So you're always trying to do that one step better than everyone else. But I mean, geez, they're going to have to figure something out
Yeah.
because that sucks. Imagine going from a college out there and just going to a worse situation to play in the NFL. Oh, that would be brutal.
Yeah.
And now with some of these rules, you're probably making quite a bit at some of these colleges if you're a star player, just to be going to somebody like the Bengals who don't pay for all your meals and are closed down on your days where they're telling you have to come in and work out still.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would not be
Wow.
fun.
Well, it's like you look at ASU and the Cardinals, like ASU just completely redid their strength room and their locker room 2-3 years ago. Then you got the Cardinals that are absolute dog show on any of this stuff. Because I forget what it was. Like they arguably have one of the worst weight rooms in the league. Players described as a health and safety risk just to walk through it. Floors are uneven, the floorboards are peeling off. They don't have any current like equipment.
Jeez.
It's a disaster. And yet
To walk through it, there's a risk.
Yeah.
not even 10 miles down the road, you've got ASU like state of the art everything.
Wow.
And yeah. So
One
it's
walks
wild.
through, like, oh, how'd you get hurt? Oh, I just walked through the weight room.
Yeah, I stubbed my toe on a board that was sticking up in the weight room.
Yeah.
That's fun. Good for them.
So it'll be interesting.
Do they
but
have
yeah.
a lot of money as a franchise? I don't even know who owns the Cardinals.
The Bidwell family does. They do, but also paying a lot of money right now in dead money to Kingsbury for his contract, and then the GM paying a lot of dead money there, plus
Gotcha.
whoever they just hired. So financially, I mean, it probably doesn't make a dent in their wallet, but like
No, but
they got
they're
a lot
not
of things
going
they're
to
paying for.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's what
It's-
a lot of people were really excited about with, it's the Waltons, right? The Walmart family. Does that sound right?
and Sir Lewis Hamilton, Formula One driver for Mercedes-AMG
Gotcha.
Petronas.
So he's an owner of the Broncos. Is he the reason that
Mhm.
they're in turmoil right now?
Well, he's
So I
going to be the
shouldn't watch
reason.
F1.
No, he's the reason you're going to get out of turmoil.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Well,
He
that's
just
the
got
hope,
you
is that
Sean Payton.
everyone said that they're going to have stupid money to throw towards the facilities and everything like that. I
Man,
mean,
they just resodded the field for the last game of the season for no reason.
yeah, good for them. Yeah, that's a wild thing to do. Just why not?
Should have done
perfect
that
time
for
to
the
do
Super
it.
Bowl.
But I will see. I mean, I was talking to somebody, close family friend, who said that he used to do business with Walmart as a company. He used to be a distributor, so he used to do business with them. And he said every place that he would go into, to talk with some of their professionals, was like an actual Walmart. Like, it wasn't nice. They put cheap furniture in there, and it was just really nothing to brag about. And I worry that that's exactly what the Broncos are going to become. It's just like these offices that have the cheapest of the cheap stuff, because, that's what we do. We do lowest price.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, except for when it comes to Russell Wilson, we'll pay maximum. And yeah, I'm not happy with my organization right now, guys. But anyway, that's probably a good spot to end, and my misery and your guys' joy. So that is another episode of Step Into Our Phone Booth, episode 5. And we will be back next week. Haven't figured out what we're going to talk about yet. We'll have to talk to Tyler about some of these rankings and report card stuff, just so he can brag for once in his life about the Cowboys, and go from there. Thank you, everybody.